say that? Good. Good evening, everyone. My name is Robert Cagnetta, and this is a meeting of the South Kingstown of Rhode Island Zoning Board of Review. Members present tonight are Bill Rosen, Kevin Diamond, Arlene Hicks, and Kevin Pellissier. Also present are Amy Goins, the South Kingstown Special Legal Counsel, Jamie Gorman, our South Kingstown Building and Zoning Official, and Jessica Spence, our Administrative Support Associate. The board is made up of 7 people, where 5 are regular voting members, but only 4 are required to be present to vote. In the event that there are fewer than 4 members, an alternate will step in. No more than 5 members are entitled to vote. Tonight, the voting members will be myself, Mr. Rosen, Mr. Diamond, Ms. Hicks, and all of us, Mr. Pellissier. The applicants are here either for a variance, be it a dimensional or a use, or to seek a special use permit. This board is a quasi-judicial body created by South Kingstown ordinance pursuant of state statutes. We don't follow strict rules of evidence, and we operate in what we believe to be in a fair and equitable manner. We try to let everyone speak unless they get carried away or is determined not to be relevant. So in the interest of time, please try to be brief and on point. We do our best not to argue, and we keep things civil. And we try our best to hear the last petition started by 10 o'clock. When your petition is called, please come forward to the podium and speak clearly into the microphone. Feel free to adjust it if you need to. You'll be asked to state your name and spell it for the record, and then take an oath to tell the truth. The applicant can then present the petition along with any other witnesses to testify in its support, with the board asking questions. After the applicant has presented their testimony, the board will seek public testimony either in support or in opposition. They will be asked to come forward, state and spell their name, be sworn in, and present their testimony, again to be followed up by board questions. Questions or comments to the applicant or other witnesses will be made through the board. So you basically come up to that podium, and then we'll allow the applicant to respond after that comment period. After all the testimony and before a vote is taken, the board will openly discuss the application and the evidence presented. Variances or special use permits require at least 3 voting members to vote in favor of the petition to grant the requested relief. Board members will ask a lot of questions, and there's a good reason. We cannot just grant anything we choose. We follow rules per the South Kingstown ordinance, so you must give testimony that supports certain facts to allow your request to be approved. You are here either for a dimensional variance or a special use permit. So for a variance, you must offer evidence to the board setting forth the following: that your hardship is due to the unique characteristics of the subject land or structure and is not due to the general characteristics of the general area, of the surrounding area. That your hardship is not the result of any prior action on your part, and that the granting of the variance will not alter the general character of the surrounding area, and that the relief requested is the least relief necessary. And you must also show that your hardship that will be suffered if the variance is granted will amount to more than a mere inconvenience. And for a special use permit, you must present the following: that the special use that you're requesting is specifically authorized by the zoning ordinance, or somewhere in the zoning ordinance it has to be authorized, or we don't have the power to grant it. But the council's office should have helped you guys with that. The special use permit requested meets all the criteria set forth in the zoning ordinance authorizing such special uses, and that granting the special use permit will not alter the general characteristic of the surrounding area or impair the purpose or intent of the zoning ordinance. And we'll help everybody through all this stuff. On the agenda tonight, the first item on the agenda is Cottrell Homestead LLC, and we do have a letter from the attorney.
Dated September 19th, Dear Chair Cagnetta and members of the board, I hope you're all doing well. Our office represents the Cottrell Homestead LLC in the appeal of a zoning decision of the zoning enforcement officer for premises located at 500 Waits Corner Road, South Kingstown, Assessors Map 14, Lot 65. Due to unforeseen circumstances, I am respectfully requesting a continuance of the public hearing previously scheduled for Wednesday, September 20th, 2023. If the public hearing could be scheduled at your next hearing date in October, it would be greatly appreciated. Please contact me anytime with any questions. Thank you for your time and consideration. Sincerely, James M. Callahan.
Okay, and when is our meeting in
October 18th.
October 18? Is there any comment, anyone here for this petition? No? Any discussion, or everybody okay with extending it to the 18th? So I'll make a motion to extend the petition of Cottrell Homestead to October 18th, 2023.
I'll second.
Second. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Diamond? Mr. Rosen?
Aye.
Ms. Hicks?
Aye.
Mr. Pelcier? Aye. And Mr. Cagnetta, aye. So we will see them on the 18th. And next we have the petition of Grace Donofrio, thank you, for 60 Wildridge Avenue, or Road rather, in Ridgefield, Connecticut 06877 for a special use permit under the zoning ordinance as follows. The applicant is seeking to construct a 20 by 10 addition to the existing seasonal cottage. Lot size is 7.67 acres. Special use permit is required per the zoning ordinance section 203 for special use permits for additions, enlargements, expansions, or intensifications. Section 608, which is our community overlay district for the coastal, and section 907 are standards of relief. The owner of the cottage is Grace Donofrio? Donofrio, on property owned by Village at the Potter's Pond LLC, South Kingstown, Assessors Map 87-3, Lot 545, and is zoned CW. For this application, we have the application signed and dated June 15th, 2023. Owner authorization form signed and notarized June 17th, 2023. Proposed site plan, which is 2 pages. Proposed addition drawing, which is 2 pages. We have the 200-foot abutters list, legal notices, proof of certified mailings, and notarized affidavit of mailing. Good evening.
Good evening.
Could you please spell out your name for the...
The whole name, Grace, too?
Sure.
Grace, Grace, Donofrio, Dono, F as in Frank, RIO.
And do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Excellent. So tell us what you'd like to do.
So my cottage is 440 square feet, and I'd like to add, when I spoke with the zoning and all that, you could add up to 50% at a one time. I'd like to add the 50%. What I'm planning on doing is moving there full-time once I retire, which hopefully will be in 2 years. And I'm thinking of possibly working at URI, which is right down the road. So, 400 square feet is minimal. 600 square feet would give me a little bit more space to utilize. I have grandkids that want to come up and kids and everything. And, so I would just like to do that. My neighbors, the way it is, I have the backyard space, and my neighbors are all in agreement. The board members had given me approval to do it as well. So yeah, that's why I'm here.
Okay. And this is going on the front of the building?
No, it will be, if you look at the
Sorry, the back.
back.
Okay.
So there's currently a 10 by 20 patio
Yep.
right there that I had put on. So it would just, the addition would just go over that patio would be non-existent.
So it's going in the back, which means that there's no additional restrictions to movement on either side of the building?
No, it's just going to be an added space. It's not going to even affect, I'm going to put a door through the back.
And so where's your parking? It's not in the back, right?
No, my parking I have in the front. And then we also have the community lot. So I have 2 spots in front of my place and then the community lot.
Okay. So it's not going to affect anything like that?
No.
Okay. Board members, any questions for the applicant?
Yes. I visited there think I got to the right building. It wasn't easy to find.
It has a mermaid on the front.
It looked like there was a patio off to the, what is that, the eastern side?
Eastern would be towards the water?
No,
No.
west. And you're going on, you want to build off the back. There was not much room on the back side.
There's a lot of room on the back. If you look on this page here, there's 16 feet from where the addition would be to the VPP barn, which is not a resident, it's a barn. So I have the biggest backyard, everybody's jealous. So the addition would go over the patio that I have back there. And I could show you a photo if you would like to see a photo.
Yeah, do you have a photo?
Yes, of course. We have phones.
'Cause
So it's going right on top of that patio that was there.
there's a little patio off the front.
Ms. Goins, if she's showing us a digital, what does that mean?
Ms. D'Onofrio, tomorrow, if you could email that picture to the clerk so it can be included in the record of the application, you can consider that Exhibit 1.
Okay, excellent, thank you.
So this is the back.
That's the back.
Okay.
And then this is where the,
Do you have a picture of the front?
this is the full.
Can everybody see that?
No,
Or do you want
not
to
yet,
see it?
but we can. So we'll say, would you know, like, are there 3 or 4 photographs in a row you'll just send? We can just call it 1 through 4? Just whatever's, pick 4. Pick 4. And send them over to Jess, if you could. And then we'll just mark them 1 through 4. Oh, great, yes.
That's it right there.
Thank you.
You want a picture of the front and the picture of the back, correct?
Just to show that, or just something that represents what you showed Bill.
Okay, so we're looking at this from the back side, right?
That shadow,
Wait, is that my place?
Up here on the screen. That's the back side of your cottage, right? And there's a small patio off to the right, is that correct?
make sure you're on the mic, just, sorry.
So we're looking at the house this way, right? The back. What patio are you talking about? Pull it.
I thought there was a little patio.
Yeah, it comes like an L around the house, the patio. And so if you pull it up, so you can see it again?
Where's the front door?
The front door is on the opposite side,
Right, that's what I'm talking about. There's a front door.
on the
Like
opposite
there
side.
was a little patio right next to the front door to me, as I remember.
There's a deck. You walk up the deck,
Okay, there's a deck there.
you walk up the deck to go into the house.
Yeah, I'm from Los Angeles, so
Okay.
we don't have decks.
You don't have decks. You have traffic.
We only have patios. Anyway, okay, so that, you're not gonna be you're not gonna be adding your footage to the deck side.
No,
It's off the back side.
right.
And it looked to me like there wasn't a lot of room back there, but you're gonna take up that entire patio.
Just the patio, and then there's 16 feet to the garage, because that's a shadow you're seeing.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
I got it. Okay, I'm squared away.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions, board members?
Yes.
Yes, sir, Mr. Diamond.
So what effect, if any, will this have on your septic tank?
Okay, so our septics are, we have a board member here. The septics were put in prior to me buying, when they had to redo them, so 2015, and there's no septic right near me. There's the lines that run through, but,
I'm not, I mean, typically, we don't reviewing the capacity, the impact to the septic per se. Is there a specific?
I'm just curious holistically what this means for the whole site, because it's a very tight site. So in terms of like site planning and design, like how this will shake out, you got to think about things like impervious surface, stormwater runoff, drainage, sediment control, and then obviously treatment of your septic. So I'm just trying to get
I don't have a septic right by me, because we're all a community, and we have like, yes, yes.
Yeah, I was just going to say that there's a community system. Yep. So everybody's,
tank near the home.
No,
'Cause that would
no.
of course, that would make it different, yeah, yeah.
And is it that the site is sort of considered as a whole more so than it is as the individual parts per se in terms of their impact?
Yeah, the overall site and number of cottages, and then the design for the community system, which I believe is under the parking lot or in the front. So it's not, the waste lines may be going through the yards, but there's no leach field or tank surrounding this house.
Right. And part of that intensification of what they do to these buildings is sort of considered to the capacity of the septic overall? Like, so is it, I mean, we say we can grow 50% each cottage. If every cottage grew 50%, we're assuming the system can handle it?
It'd be based on bedroom count is usually how the septic's
I'm not adding a
designed.
bedroom.
Yeah, no.
That's a fair question.
I think-
That's a little bit what I was getting.
Well, I don't know what our breaking point is there. Like,
Well-
how do we consider it?
The limiting factor on growth there and in other cottage communities like this is both zoning, so the rules we set for expansion of the structures, and then it's also up to DEM reviewing the sewer system, the septic system capacity. So there are those limiting factors which are related, because sometimes when you increase the size, you're adding a bathroom, sometimes not. So, yeah, those are two limiting factors.
Now, does DEM keep track of how many bedrooms are being added?
Yes.
Through us?
Well, when work is done that requires both zoning approval and a septic review, a new application for OWTS, usually the applicant comes here first, then they go to the state agency.
Okay.
So,
But they wouldn't be doing that for this, and I'm sorry, it's not just you, it's not just this application, it's just more of how it relates to these particular types of properties.
I'm going to ask the building official to explain how it works for a community septic system, but my understanding is the stipulations on that permit issued by DEM explain what triggers the need for additional, for a new review and application and expanded requirements.
So typically, there's the triggers for what's called a system suitability that DM would have to approve or deny, and that would be typically additional bedroom count or 600 square feet of increased enclosed area of the building. So being under, the additional 200 square feet, I don't think that would rise to that level. And although if there's no bedroom noted on here as well, no increase in bedrooms, I don't think they would be required to do a system suitability with DM.
So do we need to look at these applications if they have a bedroom or not, or no?
It's real, I think it's not really this board's responsibility to keep track of that. I think that onus is more on the board and the landowner and on DEM to enforce. I think informally, the building official advises individual applicants and the landowners or the board members, hey, it's a good idea to have an engineer review this. You may need a system suitability from DEM, but That, we don't need to add that to this board's checklist.
So it would almost be something you would be triggered by your own observations of a particular site. So if you see a lot of applications that are growing this particular site, you can say, hey, we need to, DEM perhaps needs to review this site to make sure that it's in compliance.
Yeah, and just so everyone's aware, this would be under the current ordinance, the one-time allowable increase for this cottage.
Right.
So, I mean, not to say if they were to come to the board or rather the town and say, this is a 2-bedroom, I want to make it a 5-bedroom cottage, we would require them to go to DM and make application.
Got it. Okay.
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
It does, yeah. And also, I didn't realize it was a community septic. That's
Yep.
a much bigger, that ameliorates a lot of my concern because frankly, on a tight site like this, if it wasn't, this would be a non-starter.
It would be a tough site
Because
to
there's
manage.
setbacks to those things,
Mm-hmm.
especially on where you place your slab and how you dig and what you're doing in that space, so.
Thank you.
No, thank you for tolerating that conversation.
No, it's fine. I totally understand.
It's, there's only a couple
I did build
properties.
a house once, so I get it. I did a whole big house at one point, but
We're very unique down here. We have a couple places that have like 100 buildings on the site, and it makes it a little bit confusing because they were here before zoning was.
believe me, my board at the VPP is a lot tougher than you guys, so
Oh,
they've
well.
approved it.
You're here on a good night. No. Okay. Any other questions by board members? No? Anything else to add?
I think that's it. Just I need a place to feed my family when they show up.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody out there want to talk about this? Nope. Okay. Anybody have any thoughts about this? Any concerns?
It
seems-
straightforward now.
Yeah, no, it seems like they're not taking up any part of the property that's a concern for egress. It seems all the stipulations of a special use are satisfied. So, anyone feeling confident that they want to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll do it.
So enthusiastically.
Motion to approve the petition of Grace D'Onofrio, who appeared before us tonight, and was the only person to appear before us. There was no opposition or support for this petition. Although I do recognize that a board member from Potter was here. As a result, the board finds that the special use is specifically authorized by this ordinance, because it seems as if she needs 200 feet of extra space to gain it. She's just simply adding that to the patio that's behind this structure, and although the area behind the structure is rather tight, everything in that neighborhood is pretty tight anyhow. The board finds the special use meets all the criteria set forth in the subsection of this ordinance authorizing such special use. Miss or Mrs.? Miss. D'Onofrio has gone to great lengths to get this built, to get it approved, and to get it moving, I'm sure, in the next few days. The board finds that granting the special use permit will not alter the general character of the surrounding area or impair the intent or purpose of the ordinance or the comprehensive plan of the town. It's going to fit in with the community neighborhood that's there. The septic system will be taken care of by Department of Environmental Management, and as a result, I move approval of this petition.
Motion is made by Mr. Rosen. Could I get a second?
Like the second?
Second by Mr. Diamond. Any other discussion? Mr. Rosen?
Aye.
Mr. Diamond?
Aye.
Ms. Hicks? Aye. Mr. Peltier?
Aye.
Mr. Cagnetta? Aye. Motion passes. Good luck. Thank you. Okay, next up, we have New Wave Kitchen of 359 Main Street, Wakefield, 02879 for a special use permit under the zoning ordinance as follows. The applicant is seeking a special use permit to allow alcohol service upon the restaurant premises, New Wave Kitchen. Lot size is .14 acre. Special use permit is required per the zoning ordinance, section 301, schedule of use regulations table, and section 907 are standards of relief. The owner of the property is Acme Technologies LLC for premises located at 357 Main Street, South Kingstown, Assessors Map 56-3, Lot 50, and is zoned CD. The use code is 56.1, restaurant with alcohol. And for this, we have the application owner authorization form signed and notarized July 26, 2023. Proposed alcohol service floor plan, 1 page. Certified State of Rhode Island General Assembly Act 23S 1019. Session relating to alcohol beverages dated July 20th, 2023, which is 4 pages. Certified State of Rhode Island General Assembly Act 23 H6345. The session relating to alcoholic beverages dated July 20th, 2023, 4 pages. And then 200-foot abutters list, legal notices, proof of certified mailings, and notarized affidavit of mailing. And then we have a correspondence by the Reverend Mitchell J. Lindman of the Church of Ascension of 370 Main Street. Good evening.
How you guys doing?
Good. I didn't mean to chuckle at the Acme thing. It's just I'm a
It's
big Bugs
kinda
Bunny
funny,
fan.
I understand.
You know, so, I mean, and
That's my landlord's,
to prove it, that.
yeah.
So, so tell us what you like to do. And you are, I'm sorry.
I'm Matthew Reagan, M-A-T-T-H-E-W, Reagan, R-E-A-G-A-N,
And what's your relationship to the,
the owner-operator of New Wave Kitchen.
and you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth?
I swear.
Okay, excellent. So tell us about the New Wave Kitchen and what are you guys planning on doing?
All right, so we just finished our first year of business on Main Street, and it was a good year for us. We serve Japanese, Asian-inspired cuisine. Basically, we're a ramen shop. We also do ramen bowls, some raw fish preparations, and some other rice preparations. But we're trying to grow the business a little bit more. We want to have the alcohol license. We haven't actually hired anyone else since we've opened, so it's just me and one other guy. I think that the sales will help boost that, so we can get a larger staff and even make some renovations in the future to the kitchen. So that's our goal.
And tell me about the setup of the bar a little bit and,
Right,
and how you
so,
plan on serving.
Currently, there's a long counter in there. Prior to us taking on the space, it was a smoothie shop, so I believe they installed that. There is all of the equipment necessary to have a bar, but we don't actually have beer or wine or alcohol at this time. As I drew for the site plan, we don't have a plan to have people sitting at the counter, but we do plan on serving at the tables that we currently already have established in those areas.
And how many seats? 28 seats?
28 seats.
And this is not eliminating or adding any seats?
No, it's not.
So this is the same as
The same as it was before, just adding the alcohol service.
any outdoor seating?
We do have 2 tables out front,
Yep.
two tops, so a total of 4 people could sit out front.
Okay.
This is on the sidewalk. I am not personally knowledgeable enough to say how much of that property is my landlord's or the town's.
Right.
And I guess I would look for your advice on the serving outside.
Yeah, well, I think there are 2 questions in there. One is to find out how much of the, I mean, they're allowed seating outside. I know the Tavern on Main, I thought it was about 3 feet or so in front, that technically is theirs.
The state right-of-way is right up against, I mean, depending, do we know where the property line is? Is there a survey?
I don't see a survey in the application.
That was part of the application.
Yeah.
I think that, I think we'd need that. And then I'm not sure if I mean, this might be a question for Ms. Goins, if the legislation that changed, if that was just for the premises or the building with respect to the exception.
The enforcement moratorium until April 2024, or is that what we're talking about?
I think because you got legislation changed to be within 200 feet of the
Oh.
That's correct. Before, it was illegal for us to even apply for a license. The only possibility we could have entertained was maybe a transfer. So as it stands, we went to the House and the Senate, testified, and they passed a law giving us exemption from this law.
Yep,
So now we will be able to apply, in due process if we
thank you.
go
Yep.
through with zoning. But
That's-
whether
that-
it's inside or outside is not really, dictated in the bill that has been passed.
Right, in my opinion, that legislation, the exemption would apply to the whole business, but are we talking sidewalk service?
Yeah, that's what I'm curious about. I think he's saying there's two tables outside, so it's just determining, are those tables, first of all, can they be there?
Well, the council needs to, typically, sidewalk service, there's a process, I think, with the council.
Yeah, if this is approved tonight, you would have to go before the council for the liquor license.
Yes, we still have to do the application with the town council.
So perhaps if there's any questions between now and then as to the ownership of the portion of the sidewalk or the depth of the tables, I think that would just be good to know.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, so it sounds like that we need to have a site plan before we can even determine if he can have it outside? Or we just make the determination that he can have it inside and don't even consider the outside?
I mean, the tables aren't going to be available year-round anyway,
Right.
because there are no awnings or enclosures. So
Really, the question is, I think, is can you serve? Like, you just wouldn't be able to serve outside alcohol.
Although this board has some authority over liquor service, it's the council that has the final say. and
Okay.
Ultimate authority. I think with this hand-drawn site plan, you have enough, and with the applicant's testimony, you have a general understanding of what they're asking for, but it's safe to say when you go before the council, the site plan is going to need to be professionally drawn, or at least to scale, measured out site plan indicating exactly where inside and outside the seats are and the service boundaries are.
So it's less critical for us to know that at this point?
I don't want to say, I think this board needs to have a general understanding of where the proposed liquor service area is. I think the council will want it to be crystal clear.
Jamie, could you pull up the GIS of that? Oh, there you go. Look at you. Okay.
that is correct.
And how accurate are those yellow lines? They're ish? Okay. So, okay. So I think at this point, we don't need to focus on the location of it being served either inside or out. It's just being served in,
To the extent that you think inside versus outside bears on the special use permit standards.
okay. That work? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I just know from past decisions by the board, when it was forwarded or the applicant was to go before the town council, the town clerk would review it, and we look for a real defined line, or they're seeking a defined line that the board granted, or seating plan. I mean, this plan shows the interior pretty definitively, but I think if the decision or the motion, it should be, if it's outside, you need to know, I would say how many tables, yes.
So you're saying 28 seats?
28 excluding the tables outside.
Okay, so not
The
counting.
site plan, or the one that I drew of the serving area, did not include those tables.
Do you happen to know the capacity of your building? Like how many you're allowed to have in there?
I'm not sure at this time.
Okay, board members, questions? Right. Yeah, I think when we talked about exterior stuff, at places like Persimmon,
First lane? Yeah.
Purslane, sorry. I know the food more than a name. It's definitely concerning as to making sure that those areas are sort of isolated from the general public, so nobody can sort of walk by and swipe a drink, sort of idea. So I think but then there's Tavern on Main that is right on the street. And
And they were before the board, and they did have a survey showing that they owned approximately 4 feet of that sidewalk.
Right, which is kind of shocking because there's not much sidewalk left after that.
And perhaps DOT wouldn't have a problem with this, and it's not really, without knowing where that property line is, it's kind of up in the air.
So it's, okay, so then I think it's just up to us to determine if it's, if there needs to be an isolation for serving alcohol outside, or if it's,
I mean, there's no seats or tables shown on the drawing, showing the outside, so I think,
so stick to the inside. And then if he wants to expand it to the outside, then he could do that at the town council? Or is that then,
Unless you authorize it now, he would have to come back before the board. So I think that you as a board need to decide, are you comfortable with, assuming you're going to approve it, comfortable with framing it as X number of seats inside, additionally X number of seats outside on a seasonal basis, subject to council approval? And perhaps you could even describe exactly, generally where the outside tables would be located. And it goes without saying, they'd have to be located either on the applicant's own property or on the right-of-way, subject to town or state approval if needed.
so,
Like, any more information of where they're located outside? I mean, there'll never be more than the 2 tables that are out there. There's no more room.
right.
So there'll be no expansion to that. And
Let me ask a simple question. Do you want to serve alcohol outside?
I'd like to be able to serve every guest we have alcohol. I mean, I think that's only fair to our customers.
Okay.
I mean, it's almost telling someone, if you sit out here, you can't have the full service of the restaurant seems unfair.
Okay. So as long as we can include that, if we decide to.
Yeah, this is the front of the building. I'm going to walk away from the mic just to point this out for you guys.
Sure. Right. Okay. All right. Questions?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
If the outside, maybe you could know if it's a 2-top or a 4-top table, or,
Yeah, we do need to be specific about seats, especially because for restaurants, that's what drives parking.
Right. And you said that, would he need, well, he didn't need a special use permit to start the restaurant there, because he didn't come in front of us for that. So what establishes his capacity? I mean, you said you weren't sure where you came up with 28 seats, or
This is like the maximum amount of seats we have.
okay.
I wouldn't add any more.
No, but I mean, was that a limit set to you by the
that's
town,
not a
or was
limit.
that just
No,
self-imposed?
That's just
kind of?
self-imposed limit that we have.
Do we have to figure it out? How many is allowed technically? Is that something we need to know? To say, like, can we make it 32 total? If we're adding 4 outside?
I know, I don't know if I can zoom out, I'm not
You
sure
have to
if,
take the average of the time we didn't have the tables out there as well. Because if you add the 4 and then 6 months you don't have the 4, then I guess you would count that as 2.
if he's not increasing capacity from what he's been issued a license for originally, because restaurant without alcohol is allowed outright in the CD zone,
Okay,
provided there's no increase, I don't see any check and balance.
I
for-
agree with that.
okay. Okay, so we'll make the assumption that the capacity is correct. Okay. All right, anything else to add?
I'm happy to answer anything that you guys have on your mind or would like to hear about, so,
Well, we'll see what else comes up,
sure.
but if there's anything else, we'll just see if anybody out there wants to
We can
speak.
move on. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, did you want? Yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely.
Is this just for beer and wine?
I would like to apply for the full license if possible. I would rather not have to go through all these applications twice. If all we can get is beer and wine, we'll take it, but, I mean,
I just want to clarify that.
Sure.
It's going to have to go before the town council.
right, I was told that by Jess. She mentioned that to me when I talked to her when I was submitting the application.
Do you at present allow people to bring in their own liquor?
Yep, We currently offer BYOB. I don't believe the town has a license program for that, so we will be dismissing that once we get
And the
liquor license.
and the 2 tables or 4 seats that are outside,
Mhm.
have people,
People have brought their drinks out there, yes.
yeah, okay. Thank you.
Any other questions, board members? Nope? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
No problem. Anyone out there want to speak on behalf of this petition? For, against, otherwise? Okay, I mean, does everybody feel like that there's enough information here that we're okay with the use of the space and ability to sort of manage alcohol in this location? It seems like other establishments have.
And it's also just that its exposure to the street is so much more limited than other examples
Right.
in terms of like how it can spill out. It's pretty contained.
And this is, right, and this is part of the downtown. We want to sort of encourage sort of dining and so forth.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Would you like me to read the letter in?
Yes, please, thank you very much. I didn't flip that far.
I have a letter dated August 31st, 2023, to whom it may concern. I am Father Mitch Lindman, priest in charge at Ascension Episcopal Church, Wakefield, Rhode Island. I'm writing in support of New Wave Kitchen's application for a liquor license and use/zoning action request, property located 359 Main Street, Wakefield, Rhode Island. These folks at New Wave have been great neighbors and have been nothing but responsible. They are civic-minded and care about their environment, both with the physical upkeep of their space and with regard to being good neighbors. Matt, the manager, has stayed in touch with us at every stage of this process and is always open to our input. Our people in the congregation have no problem with responsible consumption of alcoholic beverages. We comply with our diocesan guidelines and are in favor of well-monitored serving. Our communion wine is real wine. Our tradition is not opposed to moderate use. Thank you for your attention. If you need more from me, do not hesitate to reach out. Sincerely, the Reverend Mitchell J. Lindman, priest in charge.
Fantastic. It's a high endorsement. So that's great. I think, like he said, it's a very community-oriented space. But this also has to be renewed, correct? Every couple of years, 2 years, is it? Every year. Which is good to make sure that everything is still on the up and up. All right. Okay, anyone else out there? No? Board members' thoughts? How you feeling about it?
I'm fine with it. I presume the Ascension Church is directly behind?
Across the street,
Oh, it's across.
right,
more
directly across the street, up the hill a little bit. Yep.
They're for it, I'm for it.
I had spoke to the minister just because that was the legal situation we were in, not being able to serve because of the church across the street. So just having his support meant a lot to us, and
Yeah.
we would share that with you.
Okay.
Well, good for you to petition the state and find out the real way to kind of go through it, so.
I have learned a lot going through this process, and you guys put in a lot of work. I really understand that now.
Yeah, well, it's a whole different level going up there and advocating for that, so good for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Ms. Hicks,
Just
sure.
out of curiosity, if you are granted a liquor license by the town council, a special use permit by this board, will you be open more days per week?
I'm not sure. I mean, this is also one of the issues that I brought up earlier with the employment. I mean, it's only me and one other guy, and we usually put in between 10 and 12 hours each day we work. So the 4-day week works for us. And then I have an extra day to take care of office-related issues. Hopefully, though, with the increase with the alcohol sales, that we will have more revenue and be able to employ more people. So, and then hopefully open more days.
How about hours of operation? Would they be, do you imagine them being extended?
Sorry.
Hours of operation, do you imagine them to be extended, or is sort of the same situation as the days per week?
I guess the answer is about similar to the
Yeah.
one I gave her.
Got it.
It's like,
Okay.
until we can get more staff, I
Right.
don't want to burn ourselves at both ends, so.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
What are your hours?
12 to 8.
12 to 8?
Wednesday through Saturday. We're closed Sunday, Monday, Tuesday at this time.
Okay, but we don't necessarily, we're not going to restrict the hours per se. I mean, we can, but I don't want to necessarily say those are the hours he's allowed, because if you want to be open longer.
Right.
Okay. All right, thank you. Anything else? Any other questions, board members? No? Any thoughts, comments? Mr. Diamond, you okay with this? Mr. Rosen, you feeling all right with that? The six, you good? Everybody? You good? Yeah. Yeah, oh, absolutely, on top of it, so. Excellent. All right, someone want to try for a motion, or if not, I'll give it a shot? Yeah. Okay. I'd like to make a motion to approve the petition of New Wave Kitchen on 359 Main Street, which is in downtown Wakefield. The petition was made by Mr. Regan, who's one of the owners of the establishment, which has been there for about a year, you mentioned. And they are about 28 seats inside and 4 seats outside. They submitted a floor plan identifying the interior seats. They will be amending their site plan for the petition to the town council to include the 4 seats, the 4 seats outside, which are 2 double tops. That's the way I say it, but we're asking to serve alcohol on the premises. They are currently open from 12 to 8 Wednesday through Saturday, but they expect to sort of increase the hours and days that they're open. We do have a letter from the Church of Ascension across the street, which had said that they are great neighbors and have no problem whatsoever in the New Wave Kitchen providing alcohol service. They did ask for a full license or a full to serve all alcohol, which the board did not have a problem with. There was no other opposition or anyone in favor or against, and this is a special use permit where we're considering things. It's not going to change anything about ingress or egress in the building. It's not going to change any off-street parking because they are not increasing the amount of seats. The trash is staying the same in terms of location and ability to remove it from the backside of the building. No change in utilities, no need for screening or buffering, no signs or lighting. It is very compatible with the use of the downtown, in the downtown being vibrant longer in the day, which is always good to have more nighttime establishments sort of open on the street that give it some more vibrancy. So this will be a great addition to downtown. They also submitted other documentation allowing them to have it in proximity to the religious establishment, which was once prohibited. So with that, I'd like to make a motion to approve. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Rosen. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Cagnetta, aye. Mr. Rosen?
Aye.
Mr. Diamond?
Aye.
Ms. Hicks?
Aye.
Mr. Pelletier?
Aye.
Motion passes. Good luck. Thank you.
I appreciate your guys' time. I have one more question for Jess, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Am I going to get a physical special use permit, or what's the next step after this?
The next step will be, the decision will be written, reviewed by legal counsel, and recorded. So that should take about a week to 10 days. That'll be emailed to you and sent certified mail. From there is a 20-day appeal period. And I would say, I'm not sure on the timeline for the town clerk, but once you get the decision, your next step would be to go to the town clerk's office to apply.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. very much.
You're welcome.
You guys have a great night.
Thank you, you too. But make sure you get the site plan. Yep. Oh, yeah, no, just Mr. Gorman or Jess, yeah. Next up, we have David and Sapin. For 28 Cherry Road in South Kingstown, Rhode Island 02879 for a dimensional variance under the zoning ordinance as follows. The applicant is seeking to construct a 21 by 23-foot detached garage located 25 feet from the property line of the front and 8.8 from the side property line. The required front yard setback is 35 feet and 6 feet respectively. Therefore, a relief of 25 feet and 1.2 feet is requested. Lot size is 0.36 acres. The dimensional variance is required per the zoning ordinance, section 208, non-conforming lots of record, accessory building setback requirements in sections 503.1, accessory structures in section 907 are standards of relief. The owners of the property are David and Sipin Favre for premises located at 28 Cherry Road, South Kingstown, Assessors Map 31-2, Lot 30, and is zoned R20. We have the application signed and dated July 31st of this year. Owner authorization form signed and notarized July 31st. Drawings and elevations, 9 pages, prepared by Chapman David Design Services, LLC, dated July 26th of this year. Proposed site plan of the garage, 1 plan, prepared by Fontaine Land Services, LLC, and stamped by Michael A. Fontaine, PLS, and dated July 31st of this year. 200 feet, a butters list, legal notices, proof of certified mailings, and notarized affidavit of mailing. Good evening,
Good evening.
and please state and spell your names.
I'm Dave Favre, D-A-V-I-D, F-A-V-R-E. This is my wife.
Saipin Favre, S-A-I-P-I-N, F-A-V-R-E. That's our last name.
Okay. And you guys both swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
We do.
Excellent. So please tell me what you guys like to do with the property.
Thank you. We're before the board this evening proposing the construction of a garage in the front of our home. We're requesting relief on the front and left side setback. The required setback in the front is 35 feet. We're requesting to come down to 25, which would be 10 feet of relief. On the left side, the requirement is for 10 feet, and we're asking for an 8.8-foot setback, so 1.2 feet of relief. We did a narrative with the application. It kind of sums up why we're asking. Also, I have some photos that I'd like to submit if I could. Yes. The home was originally built with a one-car garage on the left side, which was converted by the family before us to a family room. Building it as an attached garage would detract from the appearance of the house, conflict with the roof lines, and cause us to lose 2 living room windows and 1 window in the second floor bedroom on the southwest side. We've tried to use a minimal design to make the proposed garage blend with the home and the grounds. In the photos I submitted, you'll see I gave the left side elevation, which is the side that has the 2 windows on the house that we would lose in the living room, and it shows the bedroom window and the gable end that we would lose. The next picture shows the view looking from our house out to the neighbor's side, where we're asking for the 1.2 feet of relief. It's highly vegetated. And the last one shows the rear elevation. The bedroom window we would lose is the only window in that bedroom, so we would lose our egress window. There is a small dormer there that only services the bathroom. We've tried to keep the garage down to a minimum. We basically worked and what we need is a minimum to get 2 cars and a snow blower and whatnot in there, which gave us a 21-foot width. And we've kept the height down to the required below 15 feet. So if there's anything we can answer for the board?
Absolutely. No, thank you. As you say, that the house takes up pretty much the whole setbacks, and going behind the building isn't really practical for you?
We can't really get back there now because I'm guessing it's a pre-existing non-conforming structure because it's already encroached on the right side.
Right.
And on the left side, where there isn't much room. And it would be awkward
Yep.
to do it and eat up, last but not least, our backyard, which we kind of like.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And like you said, it's, so placing it on the building is something that is a challenge because you're gonna lose egress.
Well, then I would have to
Lighting.
I would either have to build a dormer on the back of the house, or I'd have to kick up the roof height on the garage, because I've got to get to light from that bedroom somewhere to get egress.
Right.
And I'm retired, my wife is close to retired, we don't need any more we're not looking for living space. We really don't want any living space. We just want a place to put the vehicles.
Right, and is sort of the awkward placement a common theme in your neighborhood in terms of buildings being close to lines?
A lot of the buildings appear to me from the curbside when we take our walks in the morning to be pre-existing non-conforming.
Right.
Either a garage or the front they tended to be closer to the road than the 30.
Closer than yours, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
As you come in on the right to Cherry, there's one that's probably 20 feet from the asphalt. Another thing that has no value in zoning, but you may consider mitigating, is there's 10 feet of lawn between the edge of pavement and the property line. So the reality is the garage is 35 feet from the pavement itself, from the road.
Sure.
I know it has no zoning value, but
No, I mean, well, it's about conformance to the neighborhood, so I mean, I think if, like you said, when we were driving around there, it seemed like that it was some irregularity as to setback.
yeah,
and so forth.
there is.
Okay. Board members, any questions?
Just one quick one. You've got a driveway that leads up to the former garage. What's in that garage? That's living space,
It's a family room.
family room?
Complete. They left the garage door on, trimmed and everything and painted, but they just built the family room. There's a pretty nice family room behind.
Gives a nice breeze. in it.
This is going to be a detached garage.
This will be detached.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
One story?
One story, there's a 6-pitch roof. It's 14 foot, 9.5 inches from grade. Apparently, there's a 15-foot requirement for height. Yes.
So there's not gonna be like a loft or living space or anything like that?
There physically really won't be room. There's 9. There's about 4 feet from the rafters to the top of the ceiling joist. So you might be able to slide something up there, but not,
It's not.
you can't stand vertical. You won't be able to stand vertically.
Just crawl in.
So it's going to be like a little attic where you might be able to store some stuff.
My days of climbing into attics are pretty much over, but someone else could, I suppose.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Rosen. Any other questions, board members? This applicant? Mr. Diamond? No? Nothing? Okay. Want to add anything else, or?
No, unless there's any questions, we're good.
No, not right now, but if there are more, we'll certainly call you back up. But thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, the audience is dwindling. Is there anybody out there that wants to speak on behalf of this petition? To where they're going to have their garage? So, Mr. Rosen, you were down there?
Yeah,
And what'd you
not
think?
very far from my house.
Oh, no?
About
But you feel like that
a quarter mile, yeah.
about a quarter mile, more than 200 feet.
But we've had there's other construction going on in that neighborhood. There's another garage going on around the corner.
Yep.
So
But you don't
the
think it'll be-
neighborhood is changing, and it looks like everybody wants a garage, so,
It's the in thing.
yeah,
But you don't think it'll be out of the ordinary to put this garage in that location?
no.
Okay. All right. Is there someone who'd like to make a motion on this behalf, on their behalf?
Did you ask for,
I did ask, and they all shook their heads. They don't care.
nobody wants to speak up.
No, they're okay with it.
This is a dimensional variance, right?
It is.
Move the position of David and Sapin,
Seipen.
Fob, as described by the chairman at the beginning of our consideration here. The owners of the property came forward and asked for to build a detached garage on their property. Need some relief as such, and I'm going to move approval of the petition as such. The board finds that the hardship from which the applicant seeks relief is due to the unique characteristics of the subject land or structure and not to the general characteristics of the surrounding area, and is not due to the physical or economic disability of the applicant. They used to have a garage on that property. They have since, or a previous owner converted it to some living space. They need extra space to, at present, their car sits out in the front of the house, and they want to put it in the garage. They also want to have some storage space for various pieces of equipment, and the only place really to put the garage in a detached fashion is where they're requesting it. The board finds that the hardship is not the result of any prior action of the applicant and does not result primarily from a desire of the applicant to realize greater financial gain. They're going to retire soon, and they will retire into this abode as such, and the reason that they're seeking a garage is because a prior owner actually took the garage away from the house and converted it into living space. So they need that garage to make their life a little bit simpler and more relaxing in terms of their retirement. The board finds that the granting of the requested variance will not alter the general character of the surrounding area or impair the intent or purpose of the zoning ordinance or the course of the comprehensive plan upon which the ordinance is based. I visited the area. As a matter of fact, I walk through there quite often on my daily walk. And this is not going to change much of the character of the neighborhood. There are a number of different types of abodes there, but there is presently some construction going on there, and we recently approved construction of a garage right around the corner from the Favres as such, and it seems only appropriate that they should have a garage. There are other houses that have garages, but there are also other houses that don't have garages in that particular neighborhood, so it's not going to change the character of the neighborhood itself. The board finds that the relief to be granted is the least relief necessary. As stated previously, they need this garage, and it's the least that we can do to approve it. The board finds that the hardship suffered by the owner of the subject property, if the dimensional variance is not granted, amounts to more than a mere inconvenience. At present, they need the garage, they don't have it, and this would, if we denied this petition, it would lead them to have the inconvenience that they're seeking to get out of. As a result, I move approval of this petition. Sorry, my voice is starting to fade here.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. You made it. Motion is made by Mr. Rosen. Can I get a second? Second by Ms. Hicks. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Rosen?
Aye.
Ms. Hicks? Mr. Diamond?
Aye.
Mr. Pelletier?
Aye.
Mr. Cagnetta, aye. Motion passes. Good luck. Enjoy. All right. So next, we have the petition of Glenn and Joanna Forrest of 51 Slope Ave in South Kingstown, 02879, for a dimensional variance under the zoning ordinance as follows. The applicant is seeking to construct a 6-foot by 8-foot porch with stairs to grade on the north side of the existing single-family dwelling. The porch will be located 30 feet from the property line. The required yard setback is 40, so relief of 10 feet is requested. The lot size is .47 acres. Dimensional variance is required per the zoning ordinance, sections 207, non-conforming lots of record, building setback requirements, and section 907 are standards of relief. Owners of the property are Glenn and Joanna Forrest for premises located at 51 Slope Ave, South Kingstown, Assessors Map 90-1, Lot 54, and is zoned R30. And this is, we have an application signed dated August 9th of this year, elevations and framing plan, 2 pages, prepared by CR Design and Planning, dated February 1st of this year. Site plan, 1 page, prepared by Environmental Planning and Surveying and stamped by Robert C. Schultz, Jr., PLS, and dated July 3rd of this year with edits on July 31st. The supplemental materials is a 2-page letter with photos from Heidi and H. Howard, the ESHI Builders, LLC, 200-foot abutters list, legal notices, proof of certified mailings, and notarized affidavit of mailing. Good evening.
Good evening.
And you are?
I'm Joanna Forrest,
Excellent. And could you please spell your name?
Joanna, and Forrest is F as in Frank, O-R-R-E-S-T.
And you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Excellent. So tell us what you'd like to do, Ms. Forrest.
Well, I have Heidi Howard here. She's from the builder, and I would like her to represent me.
Oh, sure. Oh, that's great. No, thank you.
All right, thank you.
End it right off.
Thanks.
Good evening. And again, state and spell your name for us, please.
Certainly. Heidi Howard, Heidi-Howard.
Okay, and you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I obviously.
Excellent. So go for it.
So this is a new home for them, and we're doing a complete remodel inside and out. The existing entrance from the side of the home is just about 3.5 feet deep and 64 inches long at its longest point. The location of the doorway cannot be moved because there is a demising wall on the left as soon as you walk in against the door swing, and immediately upon the right are the stairs that go downstairs. So there is absolutely no way to move that door, and it is the door that's closest to the driveway access. So this is the most natural entrance to the house. The actual front entrance goes straight into the kitchen. So they will most often use this side entrance on the north side of the house, as will their guests. The existing structure has no railings on it, which makes it unsafe and unusable per standard codes, and those railings were removed by the previous owners of the home. There was a gentleman in a wheelchair, and so they had the ramp built in with those railings. That has since been removed prior to the sale of the house. So we want something just slightly larger for them to come, to rest on when they're opening and closing the door, and giving them a covered porch will keep them out of the elements.
Sure, sure. And does the door swing in or out?
Door swings in.
The door swings in. And the driveway is right in front of it, so you kind of park right there?
The driveway is immediately adjacent to it. You can see the existing paved drive and that pink line, and then the stairs will be just there off to the edge.
So you're making it bigger to sort of accommodate the swing and accommodate, like, you can actually get up on the porch and open a screen door or
Yes.
some other door that might be outside, right?
Yes.
So, and is this kind of the minimum you need, or is this, you've kind of tried to keep it as tight as possible, but
We have
functional?
tried to keep that as tight
Pragmatic?
as possible. And also because of the roof line. So the pitch of that roof impacts where we can provide that new shed roof off of the porch. And we're using a shed roof instead of trying to mimic the roof line of the gabled end, that would actually shed water onto the stairs, which makes things really dangerous, particularly in the wintertime. So we're using a shed roof to come off of the side of the building, direct all of that water off from the building, and so there's only so much space we can use, and we've tried to keep it as tight as possible, yes.
Right, right, and you want to have a decent enough pitch, so you're only coming out a certain amount of feet.
Right.
I mean, it makes sense, I mean, in terms of its location and adjacent to the driveway and so forth. Is the existing deck on the other side, is that actually, do you know if that's non-conforming? Like, is the deck, it seems to be.
The deck was part of the original home.
Yeah.
We just rebuilt it and used new finishes for it.
No, I'm not saying there's anything, wrong with it per se. It's just a matter of, it does seem a lot closer to the property line than what you're proposing for your covered porch.
Yes.
You would assume that that deck is not,
Well, that deck is on the back side of the home. The street is at the forward side of the home, and so
because we only need it for the front.
it's actually for the side, yes.
bit of the side.
Because what's up front is just a small entrance way.
Right, the front is 40, so you needed 10. Right, and so basically, your house is already the house is 20 feet over the line anyway.
Right, and the existing doorway and existing stairs and deck to get into that doorway, that the bottom step on grade, that lands on grade, the front face of that step is already at 29 feet 6 inches from that site plan property line.
Yeah, so
So
you
we're
can
really
almost-
not moving any closer.
No, and you can almost see, I mean, it's your setback lines are in yellow on this drawing, but
Yes.
you can kind of see where that proposed covered entry, the 60 feet, there's an arrow. That's about where your setback is for the front, so it's coming halfway through your building, like, meaning that the house is already in violation.
Yes.
Yeah,
Of current zoning.
right, so it's not like you're building it out more.
Correct.
Okay. So, I'm just saying the house is already kind of in violation.
Yes, I think the house was placed there long before the zoning
Yeah, okay.
was put in, into place.
So, yeah, existing non-conforming, and the side, you're not asking for much. So that makes sense. Okay, board members, questions of this applicant?
Just a comment.
Yes.
When I was out there, it looked like there was a whole army of people working on that house. I was very impressed.
Well, thank you. It took, we had to keep everything on hold for quite some time. The survey took well over 8 weeks for us to get, and as such, put the whole project on hold, and my homeowner and client is anxious for us to move right along and get this thing buttoned up, hopefully in time for Thanksgiving. So if everybody could please keep their fingers crossed and say special prayers, that's what I'm aiming for.
Hopefully you ordered everything, so,
Oh, yes.
Do you happen to know when the original house was constructed? I'm not sure of the actual date, but it was 1960-something. Okay. I mean, I couldn't tell because you had taken off the sides of the house, and they were putting,
thorough.
Yes, we found one more layer of siding than we anticipated, so.
Insulation is when it's,
yeah, that's all I saw was insulation. So I don't know what the house looks like now, but I'm sure it's lovely.
It's looking gorgeous. Board and batten white with black windows.
cool.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other questions, board members? No? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have anything to add to this?
I sent it in email, and Jessica
Oh, okay, yeah, you can give it right to Jessica, thank you. Okay. We're losing audience, so, doesn't sound like, oh, I don't see, there's someone else, oh, I'm sorry, there's 4 people in here, I didn't realize, I didn't see you behind there. So, any thoughts on this? Anybody have any concerns, or, it seems really straightforward. The setbacks are halfway through the house already. So I think they're doing the best they can in terms of the placement of this, and it seems very pragmatic relative to its location.
Yep.
I think it's a pretty good decision. So, does anyone want to try? Give it a shot?
Me to take a stab at it.
Yeah, what the heck, man? Come on. If you need any help, just, we'll help.
All right. So we have a petition this evening from Glenn and Joanna Forrest to add a covered entryway to their...
Put your,
Okay. To add a covered entryway to their property at 51 Slope Drive, South Kingstown. And we heard from, first, Ms. Forrest, who then introduced her builder, Ms. Howard, Heidi Howard, Joanna Forrest. We had no one who spoke in opposition to the request, and our chair read into the record all of the supplemental materials that were provided to board members. And so I'm going to make a motion that we approve this application. And the finding of fact is as follows. The board finds that the hardship from which the applicant seeks relief is due to the unique characteristics of the subject land or structure and not to the general characteristics of the surrounding area, and is not due to a physical or economic disability of the applicant. The board finds that the hardship is not the result of any prior action of the applicant and does not result primarily from the desire of the applicant to realize greater financial gain, because the house was already non-conforming before these renovations took place. The board finds that the granting of the requested variance will not alter the general character of the surrounding area or impair the intent or purpose of the zoning ordinance or the comprehensive plan upon which the ordinance is based. The board finds that the relief to be granted is the least relief necessary. And finally, the board finds that the hardship suffered by the owner of the subject property, if the dimensional variance is not granted, amounts to more than a mere inconvenience. Because certainly we all understand why you would like a covered entryway. Yes, to protect you from the elements when you get out of your car and enter your house. Anything else I need to cover? Oh, I did that earlier, but I'll redo it. Okay, so I make the motion that we approve this application.
Excellent. Motion was made by Ms. Hicks. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Rosen. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Hicks?
Aye.
Mr. Rosen?
Aye.
Mr. Diamond? Aye. Mr. Pelletier?
Aye.
Mr. Cagnetta? Aye. Motion passes. Good luck. You're welcome. That was excellent. Thank you. You're ready. Oh, I'm sorry?
I mean, we can, if you want to call the office tomorrow, we can discuss. I don't know, do we have a building permit application in? That includes this? Okay. I mean, typically there's a 20-day appeal period after the recording, but you could, if the owner were to waive that in the event it was appealed, we could just get a letter saying that it's proceed at your own risk.
There's a lot of opposition here, so you might have to be careful. All right, next we have South County Survey Company of 382B Main Street, Wakefield, 02879, for a dimensional variance under the zoning ordinance as follows. The applicant is seeking to construct a 700 square foot detached garage with an office on a second story. The garage will be located 2.9 rather, from the rear property line and 2.4 feet from the side property line. The required front yard side yard setback is 6 feet, therefore a relief of 3.1 and 3.6 is requested. The garage will increase the nonconformity of the lot coverage from 25.1 to 25.4%. The maximum lot coverage allowed is 20%. So a relief of 0.3 is requested. Lot size is 0.17 acres. A dimensional variance is required per the zoning ordinance, section 208, non-conforming lots of record, and accessory building setback requirements, and section 907 are standards of relief. The owner of the property is Joanne Thompson, Living Trust for premises located at 22 Browning Street, South Kingstown, Assessors Map 96-1, Lot 62, and is zoned R30. For this application, we have the application signed and dated August 18th of this year. Owner authorization form signed and notarized July 24th. The limited power of attorney, 1 page, from Joanne Thompson to Walter G. Keating III. The proposed conditions plan, which is 1 page, prepared by South County Survey Company and stamped by J.T. Calderon, PLS, dated August 18th, 2023. Supplemental materials, which is a site plan, 1 page. The floor plans and elevations prepared by Labella, 2 pages. 200-foot abutters list, legal notices, proof of certified mailings, and notarized affidavit of mailing. And then 2 correspondences, one by Bert Hess of 59 Rosebriar Avenue, and then William and Linda Flaherty of 30 Browning Street. Good evening.
Good evening.
And you are?
I'm James Calderon, South County Survey Company. Calderon is C-A-L-D-A-R-O-N-E.
Okay. And do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And you are, in fact, authorized to represent?
I am, yep, representing the Joanne Thompson Trust and Joanne Thompson's son-in-law, who is sort of spearheading this, son-in-law, who is spearheading this project. His name is Greg Keating.
Okay. All right, great. And so tell us what it is you'd like. Oh, wait, did I swear?
Yes,
I
we
do
did.
that? Okay,
Yep,
sorry.
Yep, no worries.
So, go ahead. Tell us what you'd
We
like.
are replacing an existing dilapidated garage with a new garage. There's an existing one-car garage with a shed roof off the side of it that's sort of in rough shape. There is a semi-finished workshop space upstairs, and Greg would like to replace the existing garage with a 2-car garage with an office space above so that he may do some work here in the summer months.
Footprint, is it even close?
It's 120 square feet larger. It is. But we're also removing a 93 square foot shed, I believe. So we are going 0.3% above what is there now with this proposed
Okay.
structure.
Right, because I was going to go back and ask that. So it says, so it was already non-conforming at 25.1.
That's correct.
And we're going to 25.4, so that's why we're saying if it's 20% is allowed, he's only really going 0.3 over when it's 5.4
Right,
over, technically.
Which amounts to 22.5 square feet.
Oh, okay. And how about the building itself? Is
Yep.
it sitting in the same position?
It's actually going to be a little bit further from the property lines. Presently, it is 0.4 feet from the rear property line, and we're proposing it to be 2.9 feet. And it presently is 2.0 feet from the westerly property line, and we're proposing 2.4 feet. So it's getting a little further away from the property lines.
And does that give you access to work and build without
that's
encroaching
correct.
on the property?
Yep.
You have to dig a new footing and everything like that?
I would assume yes. I'm not a builder, but
It's okay.
yeah, yep.
So you're going to need it, so that gives you ample
Yeah.
space to build it without
Yeah,
encroaching?
I'm wondering if slab on grade requires I believe it does. Yes, it does. Yep.
Everything needs a little bit.
Yeah. Yep. Frost wall. Yep.
It's helpful.
Yep.
Unless you're building like an outbuilding shed from.
Right.
The new construction 1850 shed.
Yeah, right. Just some stones and throwing it right on the ground. You let those happen all the time, don't you? So, okay. And so we have 2 correspondences. Are you familiar with these
I am.
correspondences?
Yep.
There was one, I don't know if we want to read it in, by Mr. Hess who tended to have quite a variety of concerns, which I'm sure you can help us and answer.
Absolutely. And do you, okay. I was going to say, I know, I just spoke to Mr. Hess, and I didn't know if he wanted to speak here tonight as well, so.
Oh, I'm sorry. So we can
You
ask.
want me
that.
to read them in, or? Okay.
We can ask as well if he wants to.
Okay, so September 10th, to the Zoning Board of Review, subject request for a dimensional variance for a detached garage and installation of a new septic system. Opposed. I am opposed to any construction on this wetland parcel for the following reasons. 1, no septic plan was included in the application. The various agencies associated with this project should offer updated soil tests because of increase to groundwater levels. 2, the footprint of the existing one-car garage and sheds is not indicated or shown. Assessor's field card lists a total of 504 square feet for the existing outbuildings. 3, the requested 30 by 25-foot two-story structure of 700 square feet is 40% greater than the footprint of the existing structure and appears excessive for this site. The minimum size for a 3-car garage is 30 by 20 feet. 4, the requested rear and side setbacks of 2.9 feet and 2.4 feet would not allow for roof runoff to remain on this parcel. The excavation will be on the property lines. 5, there are no water gardens shown to handle roof runoff onto abutters' properties. 6, there are no architectural drawings or renderings of the proposed two-story garage/office. I appreciate your consideration. Thank you. Kindly read aloud this correspondence into the record. Very truly yours, Bert Hess, 59 Rosebriar Ave, Wakefield.
So there's a number of concerns kind of brought up on there. And I don't know if I mean, there's some of them that aren't necessarily pertinent to this application in terms of wetlands that were not identified sort of on the plot plan unless they're something we aren't aware of or is misleading. But I didn't know if there were other parts of it that you were wanting to respond to.
I don't have the letter here in front of me, but yeah, there are no wetlands on the property. There are no wetlands that have buffer zones on the property.
And you do have drawings that you did provide with the application?
I did, yep. I provided my site plan, boundary survey, existing conditions, and proposed conditions site plan. Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right. No septic plan is included in the application, but the owner is actually planning on upgrading the septic. In fact, we've already performed soil evaluations. It's not required, but he'd like to do it anyway. So soil evaluations are complete. We're going to be filing a septic plan sometime this fall. He does plan on installing a new septic later on in the spring, after the construction of the garage, hopefully. The footprint, let's see here. Yeah, I don't have the exact dimensions of the existing garage notated on the plan, but I do have the area shown here. It does seem to conflict with what the town has in the assessor's database. I came up with 580, I believe it's 580.5 square feet, where this says 504 square feet. The requested garage is actually 25 by 25. There's a 5-foot bump out on the side for the stairs to the second floor. And that would account for why this says it's 30 by 25, but the garage itself is actually only 25 by 25. And standard 2-car garage is 24 by 24. So this is larger, but not much larger, not large enough to fit a third car, in my opinion. And, in response to number 4, the requested rear and side setbacks of 2.9 and 2.4, they are larger than what's there now. So certainly, it's improving the existing conditions.
And that second floor,
Yes,
what's it being used for?
an office.
An office?
Yeah. The owner would like to, like I said,
It's not a bedroom, why?
because
How do we know?
he will never use it as a bedroom. I don't know exactly how you can.
Is there a shower in there? Is there
No, there's not.
bathtub?
There is going to be a toilet and a sink. That's it.
Toilet and a sink?
Toilet and a sink. That's it.
There's not a kitchenette?
No kitchenette, no shower, no.
Okay,
Yep, that's correct.
okay. So it's clearly,
Couldn't really be used as living quarters.
there's really no closet up there either.
There is
There's a
not.
mechanical
There is. That's correct. Yep.
But, and just a half bath, which
Yep.
is fair.
Yep.
I can understand needing that in an office.
A quiet space to get away from the house and do his work.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
No, that seems reasonable. Okay, and was that it? In
Let me
terms of
see
responding
here.
to different concerns on that letter?
There are no water gardens shown to handle roof runoff. I don't believe any would be required unless we exceeded a particular threshold of increased impervious surface. However, I don't believe that the owner would be opposed to adding something like that. If you know what, let me back up. Now that I'm thinking about it, a CERC plan will be required when they go forward with the building permit application, and that will handle that request. I mean, sorry, that's that concern.
Yeah, being a new building, they'd have to have a determination from the town engineer, but this being, because the overhang would likely be close to within a foot of the property line.
Yep.
I mean, there's gutters and downspouts couldn't direct onto the abutting properties, so a CERC plan would be in order.
Okay.
Yep. So that will be addressed in the building permit application process.
And I see there's crushed stone here anyway, so you're
Yep, that's correct.
at least intending on having a pervious surface.
Yep, that's correct. And let me see, there was
So
one more.
Is that something that we have to consider, or no, because it's covered by the building?
Building permit, yep, when we review it, the town engineer will be included, and they'll require that.
Okay.
Oh, and then number 6, there are no architectural drawings. There were not until recently, but now there are.
Okay.
Yep.
That's great.
Yep.
Okay. And then the other correspondence, does any board members have questions relative to that correspondence and his responses? No, I think you just talking to them.
No questions. No.
Thank you.
That's all you had to say.
Just a quick question
Yes, Mr. Rosen.
for Amy. The DM has to approve, right? We don't have control of wetlands and that type of stuff.
Wetlands regulation is now almost exclusively at the state level. There are some exceptions, but this board doesn't have any authority like we used to over any kind of setback from wetlands. That's all handled through DEM's processes now.
And that took place July 1, as I remember.
Yes, of last year, 23 or 22. I think it was 22, yeah, the regs took effect it was a quick summer. The regs took effect last summer, July 1st, 2022, and at that point, municipal ordinances were superseded.
That's what I thought.
Okay. Any other questions relative or comments relative to that correspondence? Okay. Jessica, there was one more, right?
Yes,
From William and Linda Flaherty
yes.
of 30 Browning.
Subject, petition of South County Survey Company, 382B Main Street, Wakefield, Rhode Island, for a dimensional variance at 22 Browning Street, South Kingston, Assessors Map 96-1, Lot 62. Dear Mr. Cagnetta, we as the adjoining property owners at 30 Browning Street, South Kingstown, Assessors Map 96-1, Lot 61, support the approval by the board of the above subject petition for a dimensional variance as requested. Best regards, William and Linda Flaherty, 30 Browning Street, South Kingston, Rhode Island.
And these are the folks, I believe, to the east. So technically the other side of the property. But that's good. Okay. So do you have anything else to add relative to the petition?
I do not.
Okay.
I'm here for any questions you may have, but
Board members, any other questions for the applicant's representative? No? Okay, we can come up with something. But thank you very much.
great, thanks.
Do you guys want to speak on behalf of this petition? Come on up. Good evening.
Angela Dupuy, D-U-P-O-U-Y.
I am, and my husband,
Do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, please, go ahead.
My husband Parker and I are abutters on the Rosebriar side, so it would be the rear lot
Okay.
abutting. So one of our property lines is the one that hopefully it's going to be a little further from.
Yes.
Right now, it's, like we squeeze pie like this.
Yeah.
But anyway.
That's all right.
My concerns with this is the size of the building relative to what is there. It already kind of looms where it is. But, it is not substantially, hugely different from what is currently there, except that will be new. The half bathroom is a concern, because what we have seen is that although originally these buildings don't have a bedroom per se, that a shower appears, or there's an outdoor shower, or, they begin to be used that way, which is, these are lovely people, and they're very, I have no objection to them. It's just that eventually somebody else might own that property, and now it becomes a bedroom. And the property kind of at the other corner that way, 1000 Green Hill Beach Road is a good example. That was a one-car garage that suddenly became a two-story one-car garage without permits many years ago. And the restriction was that it would only have electricity. They weren't going to make them tear it down, but you can only have electricity. Until the current owners, also lovely people, no objection to them at all, tore down the house that was there and then got permission from the town to make that a living space so that they could live in it while they built their house. So now it is an additional living space on that. So I guess my concern would be more with the septic application, and is it increasing the size of that septic? Sure. It's great to be a new septic. We're all in favor of that. But if it goes from a 3 to a 4, for example, bedroom, I can't imagine that it wouldn't be really easy to make that space or petition to have that space become living space. And then the only other thing is we're getting a lot of light pollution in our neighborhood now. Right. And the lights people are using, and I don't know, we don't seem to have any control over that, but, it's very bright. Sometimes you feel like it's a prison yard back there right. Because the lights are. So I guess that would be my only comments about it. I don't.
Let me just check one thing. I mean, Ms. Goins, if it's a dimensional, do we have any comments to make over lighting, or usually just special use we do, right?
Here's what I would say. The relief is for the structure, not the use. It's a by right residential use. And I'm going to ask Jamie to correct me if I'm mistaken. I don't think we have a generally applicable residential lighting ordinance.
Okay.
So I would say this: the zoning board can always impose reasonable conditions on approval, but to the extent that, it's a residential use, it may be more appropriate to suggest to the applicant that hopefully that could work it out in a neighborly way. And it sounds like there's an existing issue, so I'm not sure it's a condition on lighting would really be tied to why this is before the board for relief.
Okay, but it does bring up a good point, being that the entry to this second floor is facing your house or your property.
No, it actually won't be. The back side of that building would be what we are seeing. It kind of is facing, but not really. We're the back abutter to their property. Our sideline abuts their back. Pardon? I'm not sure.
Show me. Right, and so
Oh, yeah, so their entrance.
the stair is coming up that side. So, my only concern with that is relative to where your house is, and if a light is on
Yes,
here all the
exactly.
time.
That's where we have a problem. This facing this way and facing that way, and it kind of lights it all up.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, but like we said, even if we say something now, and they're very nice people and they do the right thing, someone can put up a floodlight in 2 years. Right. Bad things, yes. Okay, all right. Thank you.
Concerns that we have, I just would hate, I don't know that we have much control over it, but I just thought. I'd
Well,
make it
I mean, I think a good question, well, thank you, and we can certainly ask the applicant about these things. Do you guys, does anyone have any questions for Mr. Poi?
I mean, everything in Green Hill is non-conforming at this point, it's very few houses are not non-conforming, and so,
Well, I mean, I'm going to ask a question to see if it's feasible of the applicant relative to your concerns.
Thank you.
So, you're welcome. So I'll ask the difficult question. Can you move the stairs to the other side? Only, I mean,
I don't believe so because of the location of where the existing septic system is and where the proposed septic system will go. I think if we push the building further easterly to put the stairs on the westerly side, we're going to be cutting ourselves off from being able to replace the septic system there.
well, I'm saying, I mean, because, well, it's not quite symmetrical, the way that the building's set up.
You're talking about flipping the stairs to the other side, though, right?
Yeah, like not to the front, obviously not to the front where the door is where you're getting in, but
Right.
to the other side, just for the fact that
Oh, I
there's
see, okay,
egress
yep, gotcha.
adjacent,
Yep.
and I mean, I don't know, I'm making it sound simple, just, throw them on the other side. But, I mean, it is close to the property line, and we are,
Yep, understood.
it makes a difference, I think, just at least for disturbance of neighbors.
Yeah, I suppose it's possible. I guess I would have to speak with my client.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that's just me. I mean,
Sure.
I'm not sure how other folks about it. We have an architect on, right next to us, so that
Yep.
tells me if I'm crazy. Or if you would hate me if I suggested that if you were standing out there. But I mean,
Yep.
that, and looking at the footprint a little bit, it certainly wouldn't change. I mean, if anything, it would help your setback a little bit, because then you wouldn't need the stairs on that side, technically. Right?
Mr. Chairman, so we're.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, it's not.
So right now, this, as it's drawn on the proposed, the stairs are on the east?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So I guess my question would be, if you were to flip the stairs to the opposite side of the garage, would we then have abutters on that side who would be concerned about?
So I was actually going to ask you if you could bring the aerial photo back up.
It would be facing Brown, like the side of Browning Street. So,
So the light, the theoretical light at the top of the stairs would then be in the direct backyard of 1004 Green Hill Beach Road.
According to this, the stairs go up this way, so you're not talking about putting the stairs.
so wait. The drawing I'm looking at, the site plan, are those the existing stairs on the right side? We're on the,
Existing and proposed stairs are on the right side.
yeah, so it's spun,
These were the drawings we got this evening.
right, so,
This is the front of the garage faces the street. The proposed garage faces the street,
Correct.
correct?
Yes.
Okay. So if this is facing the street, you've got exterior stairs. Over here, if you're
am I seeing
talking
this?
about...
Am I looking at it wrong? So what are these stairs on the top then? Those are existing, those are going away. Okay, sorry. All right, so those are going away. So those are the ones I was saying to put on the front, but in fact, you're, okay.
No, because if you flip it and put them on this side, you risk doing the same thing to the neighbors.
Right, and you
this
can't put it,
side and
okay.
behind.
I thought for some reason okay, I thought I was
They may
totally
do
spun
it,
around.
Then we'd have
So,
somebody else.
If I may correct myself, I said that both the existing and the proposed stairs are on the east side. That's actually not correct. I see now that the existing stairs are on the north side, in the back of the building. Yep.
all right. So what I was saying, like, can we just scratch the past 20 minutes? Can't do that. So, so I think so we still have the concern, because your top of the stairs is going to be closer to her property, I would assume. And is it covered or is it open?
It was proposed to be covered. The latest plans that we just received, it's no longer covered. So,
That would mitigate the light issue.
it would, yep.
If it's covered.
Or some kind of a roof and then a little back window.
Sure, yep,
Light inside that area.
yeah. I actually just noticed that it was previously covered and no longer is on the revised plans.
But that's part of the footprint, so
So
they could cover it.
Yeah, it's footprint regardless, right? It's, yeah.
Are you just representing?
I'm the surveyor. I did the boundary survey and the proposed conditions site plan, excuse me. I did not draw the architectural plans, the building.
So I guess then it becomes sort of, is it a worthwhile to try to disguise that light that is on the side? Right, the upstairs door, is it worth saying that it's better to put something over it? Or, because a wall pack it could be a dangerous thing. But is that the only thing that would sort of mitigate any particular disturbance of the neighbors? I think certainly it's only being approved if anybody is living there, then it's in violation of zoning. So that the neighbors would have the right to petition or go to the building official and say, hey, someone's living there, and it's not supposed to be.
Correct.
I mean, is it worth trying to enhance the design or change the design for the sake of lighting? Or? Yeah. I mean, I would think you'd almost want to have that covered on the top of the stairs in some ways. Right?
I agree. Yeah.
And if you did have it covered, the light would probably be a little less objectionable.
There's a little awning up there.
Right.
There's a sconce that is a down light, up down rather than like an up light.
I was going to suggest
I mean,
a down light would probably.
And it's not really, it's not like we're going to put that in our decision per se. We're just sort of asking you to modify your design to.
I was just going to say that the building code requires a light at the top of the stairs.
Of course, yeah. But, I mean, if they put an awning on, if they put a cover on it or not, we're not necessarily going to say it in this decision that you have to put a cover on the top of the landing. Yeah, I think we're just asking to consider the neighbors.
Understood. Yep, understood.
Okay. All right. Does that answer your guys' sort of concerns a bit? I mean, short of not approving it at all, I think it's hard to say that it's not going to have an impact to neighbors. I mean, it's a tight neighborhood.
Understood.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Anyone else have anything else to add? Do you want to come on up? Good evening. State and spell your name, please.
B-E-R-T, last name Hess, H-E-S-S.
And you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing.
I do.
Excellent. Go ahead, Mr. Hess. Tell us what you'd like to say.
Okay, part of my first letter, or my letter, is that the applicant hadn't submitted anywhere near a complete, was incomplete application. So we didn't have an architectural drawing, and we still don't have an architectural drawing that sizes the garage.
And what do you mean that size of the garage?
What size is the garage being proposed?
It's, well, he did mention before it's 25 by 25.
24 by 24, I believe.
Okay. I thought he said 25 by 25, but Yeah, and I mean, it's on the, no. It's on the survey? Okay, it is on the survey. And
On the
there
survey,
is scale on these drawings as well.
on the survey, it's a 30 by 25. That's on the application. There is no dimension, I believe, on the drawings.
Well, there's a scale on the drawings.
Do you believe that?
A scale?
Yep.
Yeah.
That you can scale it?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I mean, the scale is on the
All right.
drawing here. It's labeled as,
Okay.
well, it's on this second page here, or the first page. It's quarter equals 1 foot. So,
Every garage that's, yeah, you've approved in the past, or that's been on Browning, has had an interior staircase. And probably the biggest reason is that in the winter, having an uncovered is a dangerous practice and takes more room, obviously. The footprint that we have from the assessor's line card does not agree. It's about 40% less.
well, I understand that some of those cards can be inaccurate.
The assessor's inaccurate?
Yep. Yeah, they're
So noted?
famously inaccurate. Not Jamie's, not Mr. Gorman's fault, per se.
No, he's not the assessor either.
No, they don't always match up. I think it just depends on the last time the site was sort of upgraded or updated, I should say.
Has the site been measured?
Well, there is this site plan that was submitted.
Could be incorrect.
Well, it's certified by an engineer, so we have to,
We have an engineer stamp.
on this, yes.
We have a surveyor stamp, yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to submit the line card from the assessor,
Okay.
and I have to believe that that's correct. At least it's correct in permits.
I'm not sure. Can we make that assumption that the card is correct relative to the placement of the buildings and so forth?
I would take the land surveyor because they're the licensed professional. I think the assessor use a reval company, and sometimes they round up, sometimes they round down. I believe the land surveyor is actually measuring in the field to the maybe 1/10 of an inch, perhaps.
Okay. Okay, so this was an appraiser, you said, that does those cards?
Vision, it's a outside agency that does the field measurements every 3 years, I believe.
And the only thing I have to add, assessment data is simply for the assessor's convenience. It's not definitive or determinative of anything with respect to zoning.
Okay.
It's evidence, and I agree. It's under the hierarchy, with the top being a professionally drawn survey.
So it's sort of just telling you there are 5 buildings on the property, or 4, you know, and relatively how big those are.
I mean, there's a reason we typically require surveys for, variance applications versus just submit the field card.
Right. Okay.
Right.
So
Our tax,
that helps.
our real estate tax is based on the assessor's field card.
Correct. Not a surveyor's, but the assessment.
On the
Yeah,
assessment.
that's correct. Yep.
That's all I have.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
I just want to submit this.
Do you have any questions for the applicant at all? Thank you.
Building a garage down the street, that's what, 24 by 24? Inside stairs?
I don't remember off the top of my head. That application was 3 years ago. I don't remember
59 Browning, yeah. Which, is pretty much conventional inside stairs.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's their choice.
So I'd be opposed to exterior stairs. For a couple of reasons. One of them is the possibility of the future where it's easier to use as a rental. And we do have some students, URI students, that are on the street now during the school season. And we also have others that are being rented through the B&Bs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, it has to be illegally, used, or illegally, has to be allowed. But I don't believe we have any other ordinance relative to Airbnbs or.
We have on the books that's pertinent is the unrelated persons, and this doesn't bear on that.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, anyone else? Any other questions? Okay. Did you want to add something or clarify anything?
The width in the application is stated as 30 feet. That includes the stairs. The garage is 25 feet wide, and the stairs are an additional 5 feet.
Oh, I see.
So that's why that says 30 feet in the application. That may have been the reason for that. And then secondly, I wanted to add that the intended office above the garage is for summer use only. They're only here in the summer. Will be his summer office, so.
Yeah, I mean, sometime down the line, someone will be climbing that in the winter, though. I mean.
Agreed, yes. But
So I think it's.
Yep.
And I agree, I appreciate their concerns of it becoming a more intense use.
Absolutely, understood, and I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, I think it's unfortunately, it has to be the diligence of the neighbors that sort of says, hey, this place is being used for more than when it's supposed to be. Is sort of what sort of catches people, unfortunately. So, Jamie's not looking inside of our windows at night to make sure we're doing the right thing. So, okay.
All right, very good, thank you.
Appreciate it. Anyone else out there? No. Okay, board members, any other thoughts, closing ideas, anything that we want to make special for this particular applicant? Or if we're just going to sort of accept it as to how it's been proposed?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't hold up this approval over it, but I would strongly recommend you speak with the applicant, your client, about putting an awning at the top. I think that would help ameliorate concerns of light pollution and also just make it safer.
Yeah.
Getting in, I used to live in an attic apartment, and the last time I broke my knee, second to last time I broke my knee, was falling down that because it was a metal stair and it was wet.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
I'm very accident prone.
My wife has done the same thing, falling down wet stairs, so yeah.
The neighbors would appreciate not, knowing someone isn't going to fall down the steps.
Yeah.
It's not their property. I'm sure you would like to know no one's getting
Yep.
injured. Yeah.
They don't want to see the
Certainly.
white chalk line on the
Exactly.
driveway afterwards?
Yep. Noted, and I will absolutely
Yeah,
pass
I
that
think
along
it
to
can
him.
also enhance the appearance too.
Yep, I agree.
Look attractive to have a little awning, a little gooseneck light, and
Yep.
keeps everybody, contains light pollution and contains water at least at the top of the steps.
I know the application is what the application is, but did they rule out putting interior stairs for some reason?
That I don't know. I wouldn't be able to answer that, yeah.
The dimension of the inside dimension of the garage downstairs, maybe?
Yeah, I think, I know you approved a garage earlier for 2 cars that was, I saw 21 feet wide, and I was kind of saying to myself, I don't think it's barely wide enough to fit 2 cars. I think the typical 2-car garage is 24 feet wide. This is 25 feet wide. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you put the stairs on the inside, it would become a 1.5-car garage.
Right, that's where I was going, yep.
Make it that much wider.
Yeah. Unless you added to the depth and maybe put them at the ends going the other way, I don't. Right.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Any final thoughts on this? Anyone? Okay. Anyone have any thoughts as to trying to make a motion? Yeah, go for it, man. You're enthusiastic.
as South County Survey Company.
James Calderon.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to approve the petition described that was heard this evening for the address at 22 Browning Street. The following individual spoke as representative of the applicant, Mr. Jim Calderon of South County Survey Company. Okay, thank you. I was trying to draw that from memory. This evening, nobody spoke in support of the application. The following individuals did speak in opposition. Neighbors Bert Hess and Mr. and Mrs. Dupuy. Okay, apologies. And then materials entered into the record include a letter from Mr. Bert Hess as well. The board finds that the hardship from which the applicant seeks relief is due to the unique characteristics of the subject land or structure and not to the general characteristics of the surrounding area. It is not due to a physical or economic disability of the applicant. It's pretty obvious per our discussion tonight that based on the site layout, there's really not many options to reconfigure this. We even had our own design charrette here at the board to discuss some different options, and it seems like this kind of is what it has to be to serve this use. We also made recommendations for the applicant to consider, such as adding an awning at the top of the steps and downward-facing lights. The board finds that the hardship is not the result of any prior action of the applicant and does not result primarily from the desire of the applicant to realize greater financial gain. This is a clear example of the applicant looking for reasonable enjoyment of the property as a home office and a place to protect and park vehicles, protect them from rain and such. The board finds that granting the requested variance will not alter the general characteristics of the surrounding area or impair the intent or purpose of the zoning ordinance or the comprehensive plan upon which the ordinance is based, because this does seem to be in characteristic with other structures in the neighborhood. I believe the size, mass, and scale is appropriate. The board finds that the relief to be granted is the relief necessary. I think that if you wanted to do anything to make this more, anything that would be larger or more massive, it would not be the least relief necessary, and this seems like a pretty lean and mean way to sort of address the programmatic needs of the client, of the applicant. The board finds that the hardship suffered by the owner of the subject property if the dimensional variance is not granted amounts to more than a mere inconvenience, because there would be no place for the applicant to park their vehicles in a covered way or to be able to have a home office during the months that they occupy the property. So I recommend approval.
Excellent. Motion is made by Mr. Diamond. Can I get a second? I'll second. Any other discussion? You get everything? Okay. Mr. Diamond?
Aye.
Mr. Cagnetta? Aye. Mr. Rosen?
Aye.
Ms. Hicks? Aye. Mr. Pelletier?
Aye.
Motion passes. Good luck. Be kind with your lights. All right, we have the approval of the minutes on August 16th, 2023. Does anybody have any changes or amendments to the? No? All in favor? Aye. Aye. Attendance for next month. 8th. I'm going with the 8th. I'm going to be here. Yes. Everybody will be here? All right, excellent.
When is that? October what?
18th.
Why does it say? Okay,
Zorro.
looked like 23 to me.
It said 2B, and I thought maybe then it would make sense once I opened it, that there was something in there.
There's some kind of code.
It's great, it's great, yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Any other critiques of her writing?
It's wonderful. I honestly love the way October looks. We didn't talk about that, okay? You know? Yeah.
Makes a mean-o.
Yeah, it's really great.
Okay. Anything else that we need to kind of go over? Or is that it?